Yogavasistha is a Brihad Grantha, magnum opus in Adhyatma Shastra. Yoga means also Jiva Brahma Aikya, the identity between the Jiva and Brahma. Other meaning of yoga, which will be found in the very text itself in Nirvana Prakarana, Sansarottarane yuktihi yoga shabdena kathyate. Sansarottarane yuktihi. Yukti here means upaya, means sadhana. The sadhana that helps you to cross over this samsara sagara is also called as yuktihi. Sansarottarane yuktihi yoga shabdena kathyate. So therefore in Yogavasistha, yoga means, it either means the identity between Jiva and Brahma, or the means, the upaya, the sadhana by which one can get freed from samsara. Vasistha. Vasistha means something that belongs to sage Vasistha, that which is authored by Vasistha is Vasistha. So Yoga Vasistha. This is one of the many names for this text. We'll see the other names that are going to come afterwards. So, but popularly known as Yogavasistha, I think that is the most suited name for this text. The original teaching that is contained in Yogavasistha was taught by Brahmaji to Vasistha himself. The main subject matter means the teaching is by who? Brahmaji to Vasistha. And in a particular context, it was taught to Lord Rama. Lord Ramachandra ji, after returning from Tirtha Yatra, he was sent for Tirtha Yatra all over India. When he returned, he withdrew himself. He was not interacting with the world. He was not taking the food properly. He was not talking to anyone. He used to be with himself at times, not at times, all the times left in some thinking. All were worried, father and mother, all were worried, but they didn't know what is happening to Rama. In spite of all the queries, he was not responding at all. Meanwhile, Vishwamitra came to Dasharatha and asked him to send Rama with him to protect the yaga, to kill the Rakshasa. Dasharatha did promise earlier, whatever you ask, I am going to confer, I will give you. But when it came to sending Rama, he was not ready. Vishwamitra gets angry. So, and then Dasharatha says, this is the plight of Rama. He is not at all interacting with anyone and he is so young. How can I send him? Vasistha is also called for, because Vishwamitra says call Vasistha, because he knows, having given the promise, you can't go back, otherwise I will go, I will return. So Ramachandra ji was called in the royal court. Vishwamitra interrogates him. So what is the matter? When Lord Rama opens the mouth and tells whatever that is, Vishwamitra could find he has got Vairagya not less than Shuka. See, his Vairagya is of the stature of who? Shuka. He said something great, something great. So he requests Vasistha, Vasistha, you are Brahmaputra. Brahmaji has imparted you Adhyatma Shastra. Please teach this to Lord Rama. Vasistha says, I am really honored that a Mahatma of your stature requests me. It is my pleasure to obey your command, he says. And then the teaching of Yogavasistha starts. Afterwards, Valmiki imparts this knowledge to his disciple, a dear disciple, Bharadwaja. You have heard this name, but distinguish between Bharadwaja and Bharadwaja. All of us are familiar with Bharadwaja. Bharadwaja is something which belongs to Bharadwaja. The name of the sage is Bharadwaja, and Bharadwaja is Gotra. The lineage that has started from Bharadwaja. It is a Tadhita Pratyaya. So something belonging to Bharadwaja is called Bharadwaja. So that lineage, Gotra is Bharadwaja, but the name of the sage is Bharadwaja. So Bharadwaja was the disciple of Valmiki. And Valmiki teaches his Adhyatma Shastra, what is Yogavasistha, to Bharadwaja. What is the context under which it was taught to this Bharadwaja will be seen later. The same teaching was once again imparted by Valmiki to a king by name Arishtanemi. So Valmiki has taught this to Bharadwaja and also to whom? Arishta, King Arishtanemi. There is an Akhyayika, a story in the very text of Yogavasistha as to how this knowledge has come to us. We'll be going in detail because there are some wrong notions floated by some of these PhD scholars about the authorship of Yogavasistha, the time of Yogavasistha. We'll see how all these are baseless. For that, let us go in detail in the Akhyayika, the story that is told in the very text of Yogavasistha. It is like this. And how exactly it has come to us, which is the version that is coming to us. Let me see. A Jidnyasu Brahmana by name Sutikshna. The Brahmana by name Sutikshna was very eager to gain Brahmajnana. So he goes to sage Agasti. Agasti is same as whom we know as Agastya. So he goes to sage Agasti and with due reverence asks this question to sage Agasti. He says, Bhagavan, whether karma, action, can confer moksha or jnana can confer moksha, or is it the combination of karma and jnana can confer the moksha? So these were the three questions by who? Sutikshna Brahmana to sage Agasti. Agasti says, neither karma alone can confer moksha, nor jnana can confer moksha. These two are like the two wings of the bird. A bird cannot fly by a single wing, it needs two wings. Likewise, karma and jnana are like two wings to gain the moksha. How is it? Is it that synthesis of this? No. He says, by karma, we should get such a disposition, what is called as Shuddha Antakarna, and the knowledge that is born in Shuddha Antakarna, prepared mind, confers moksha. To this effect, Agasti says, I am going to tell you a story. Story means entire teaching comes now. But how it got handed over, we will see. Agasti says to whom? Sutikshna. Our Arishtanemi is still there. Arishtanemi, Bharadwaja are still to come in picture. Now this is Agasti is telling his stories are interwoven in that. I am taking it in detail because which will help us to know how exactly the teaching has come. There is no cock and bull thing as such. It is not the fabrication of anyone. So that for that the Guru Shishya Sampradaya will be seen. From that standpoint, I am taking in detail as such. Agasti says to the Brahmana Sutikshna that there was a Brahmana by name Karunya, and this Karunya was the son of Agnivesha. Agnivesha is the name of the father of Brahmana Karunya. Karunya was sent to Gurukula by Father Agnivesha. For so many years, Karunya studies Vedas, Vedangas, and after the completion of the study, returns home. When he returned home, Father Agnivesha finds that the son Karunya is not taking to daily anusthana of karma, vihita karmas, nitya naimittika karmas, he is not performing. He has just given up the nitya naimittika karmas, the vihita karmas he has given up. Father gets distressed. He has returned from the Gurukula and he is expected to conduct his life as per the Vedas, and he has totally relinquished the karmas, not Agnihotra because he was not yet married at that time, Sandhya, Vandana, etc., all these things. So once the father asked the son, Sonny, what is the matter? Why don't you take to Vihita karmas? The son replies like this. He says, Father, look, Vedas and also Shrutis speak of Vihita karma, Pravritti marga. So Pravritti marga. For example, Yavajivam Agnihotram Juhuya. Until you live, perform daily Agnihotra. Smriti says daily you have to take to Sandhya Vanda. So at one place, this Pravritti Marga, the path of taking to action is advocated by who? Shruti. At other place, we find Nivritti Marga. Na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amrutatvamanashuhu. By karma, no praja, not prajani, no dhana, by none of these can one gain moksha. So the karmas are totally, that means, are pointed out as something that is not useful to gain the moksha. He says, I am confused. And because I am confused, I have given up the karma. Father says, look Karunya, I am going to tell you a story. Story is a story is nothing but this teaching only. But there is some link there. I am going to tell you a story. You listen to it carefully, reflect upon it, and afterwards do whatever you think it to be correct. He says, I won't tell you do like this, don't do like this. You reflect on what I am telling you and you decide afterwards what is to be done. So then, that is, so what is the story? The story is like this. An Apsara is a celestial damsel by name Suruchi, was living in the Himalayas. This Apsara Suruchi was living in the Himalayas. Once saw a Devaduta, a messenger of Indra, flying aerially. So without flight they can go, okay? they don't need flight. He was flying aerially. Suruchi saw him and with due respect asked, Sir, where are you coming from? Where are you going? May I know it? The Devaduta horse descends. With due respect, he says, Devi, I am the Duta of Indra. I am messenger of Indra. Indra had sent me to a mountain called Gandhamadana, this famous mountain in the Puranas. On Gandhamadana mountain, a king by name Arishtanemi. So we have known this name Arishtanemi. He was doing rigorous tapas. Seeing his sincerity in tapas, Devendra told me, go to Gandhamadana and bring this king Arishtanemi to heaven so that he can enjoy the heavenly pleasures. Accordingly, I went to whom? The king Arishtanemi on Gandhamadana mountain and told him that Devendra has asked me to convey this. So he wants me to bring you to take you to heaven so that you can enjoy the heavenly pleasures. Arishtanemi asked, can you please tell me what type of pleasures, bhogas, one can get in heaven? You would have jumped, is it not? So he asked, what type of bhogas can one gain in heaven? The Devadutta has to be very honest. He says, look, in heavens, one gets the bhogas, pleasures, according to the quality of one's own punyas. In punyas also different degrees of qualities are there. One gets the bhoga according to the qualities of punya. If the punyas are excellent, bhogas are excellent. If the punya is mediocre, middling, bhogas also are middling. If the punya is so-so, the bhoga also are so-so. That is one thing. Other thing, in heaven there are superiors, there are equals, there are inferiors. Besides that, he says, in heaven, envy, jealousy, rivalry, all these are there. Arishtanemi says, Namaskar. Thank you. You please tell Indra that I am not interested in heaven. Rather, I would continue my tapas here and shed my body. Devadutta said, I went to Indra and reported to him. This is what the reply of Arishtanemi. Indra was surprised to find the intensity of vairagya of Arishtanemi. Then he tells the Devadutta, please do one thing. Again you go to Arishtanemi and take him to sage Valmiki and request Valmiki on my behalf to impart the Adhyatma Vidya to whom? King Arishtanemi. So that is right, to King Arishtanemi. The text that is available to us is the teaching imparted by who? Valmiki to Arishtanemi, but in between there are links, and what was told then Devadutta narrate, then Devadutta says, I took him to whom? I took Arishtanemi to Valmiki. So, and there requested Valmiki, this is the request of Indra, please impart the Adhyatma Vidya to Arishtanemi. We'll see how he imparts, etc. There also is a sequence is there. And Valmiki teaches this Adhyatma Vidya to Arishtanemi. Devadutta also was blessed. Why? He also heard it, we also had the benefit of this knowledge, and that is what he narrates entirely to whom? Suruchi Apsara. And what we get here in the text is what was taught by Devaduta, or what was reported. He was not a guru as such, but a reporter. What was reported by who? Devaduta to Suruchi. And we find in our textbook the colophon like this. Colophon means Samapana Ullekha, Samapti Ullekha, Upasamhara Ullekha. That is Samapti Ullekha, Samapana Ullekha, or Upasamhara Ullekha. English they call COLOPHON, colophon. It means a chapter or a section concludes giving the details of the subject matter therein. In our text, of course, you will not get in that computer sheet that given to you as such, but it is there in the text. It is like this: Iti arshe. Iti means whatever that was composed till now, written till now. Iti arshe. Arsha shows this is something which is composed by a rishi. And who is that rishi here? Valmiki. Arshe Sri Vasistha Maharamayane. In the Vasistha, written by, that is taught by who? Vasistha. Maharamayana. We see that Ramayana, Purva Ramayana, Uttar Ramayana, Maharamayana, all this we'll see afterwards. Maharamayane Valmikiye. That Valmikiye points out, composed by who? Say Valmikiye. Devadutokte. Narrated by who? Devadutta. To that Apsara Suruchi. Mokshopaye. In the Upaya, the means of moksha. There are two versions there. In some you get mokshopaye. In other texts you get plural mokshopayeshu. Singular or plural, both patantara are there. Mokshopayeshu. Then such and such prakarana, such and such sarga, such and such topic. So this is what the colophon you get. So therefore, the version that we are getting, the teaching imparted by who? Devadatta. No, not Devadatta. Devadatta, Yajnadatta are very fabulous. So Devaduta to Suruchi Apsara, but from where he got? He got it from Valmiki as taught to King Arishta Nemi. So then, that means who Devaduta tells what the matter is. King Arishta Nemi requests Valmiki directly also that can you please tell me the means, upaya, by which one can get freed from samsara. Valmiki was very pleased with the dispassion of Arishta Nemi, and then he says, I will tell you, I will certainly teach you. And what he says? I will teach you Sampurna Ramayana. This word is very important. This word is from Yogavasistha only. It may not be in the selected stanzas that I have chosen, but it is from the original this thing. I will teach you Sampurna Ramayana. This word Sampurna adjective to Ramayana shows that there are sections. One is Purva Ramayana, which generally we are familiar with the stories of Lord Rama. So that There is also, which also who Valmiki refers as Uttara Ramayana. Uttara Ramayana means what? Subsequent Ramayana. Purva Ramayana is earlier Ramayana, subsequent Ramayana. These words point out that Valmiki had written besides Ramayana other grantha which is nothing but this Yogavasistha only. And he says, by listening to Purva Ramayana and taking to the Anusthana of karmas told in different stories in the Ramayana, one gets a prepared mind. Thereafterwards, by exposing, he says, this Ramayana, which is now going to teach, that this Ramayana here obviously refers to Yogavasistha, by exposing to this Ramayana, so I am taking to the means of moksha. Obviously refers to Yogavasistha, and taking to the means detailed therein, one doesn't gain rebirth, means one gains moksha. Thereafterwards, he continues to tell the context. What is the context? The context is like that. Valmiki says, I composed Purva Ramayana and taught it to my dear disciple Bharadwaja. Bharadwaja once went to Meru Parvata and recited the Ramayana in front of Brahmaji. Brahmaji was so pleased with the Ramayana, he says, I am going to give you a boon. Because of you are reciting Ramayana, so I am going to give you a boon. Ask whatever you want. So Bharadwaja requests, Bhagavan, please tell me how people can get totally freed from the sorrows of samsara, means mokshopaya. How the people, the humanity, can get totally freed from the samsara. Brahmaji says, for this you go to your guru only. He says, go to your guru only and request him to teach you the Ramayana that he has started. This see the wording. Request him to teach you the Ramayana that he has started. What does this mean? Purva Ramayana is already recited and he is so happy. He has started, means Valmiki was composing Uttar Ramayana, that is Yogavasistha. And tell him that it is, ask him to complete it. It is very, very indispensable to the humanity in future. After a second thought, Brahmaji didn't want to take the risk. He says, I myself am coming there. Because he himself wanted to exhort to Valmiki to complete it. I myself coming, and along with Bharadwaja, he went to who? Where? Ashrama of Valmiki. When Valmiki sees Brahmaji has come, he was so overjoyed, and he extends all adoration and worship with due reverence. Brahmaji says, look, he has started the Ramayana, do complete it. It is very indispensable for the humanity in future. And also he says, don't entertain any misgivings in your mind whether you will be able to complete it, because Valmiki had that in the mind. This is a big Ramayana he wrote, but this Ramayana, whether he will be able to complete it, don't have any such doubts. Certainly you will be able to complete it. So, and then exhorting him to complete that Ramayana, Brahmaji disappears. Then Valmiki asked Bharadwaja, because he was so overwhelmed by the visit of Brahmaji, so that actually what Brahmaji said was he could not grasp totally, because that much of joy he had. He requests Bharadwaja, please repeat it to me what Brahmaji had. He knows but not very sure about it, what Brahmaji told me. He says, when Lord Krishna went to Vidura's house, Vidura's house, Vidura was out. He was not in the home. And Vidura's wife was so happy. Now Bhagavan has come, no? He has to give, she has to offer something. She bought very good bananas and started offering. And why give the trouble of peeling off the bananas to Lord? She peeled off and started offering the bananas. This lady, what she was doing was, she was keeping the bananas and giving the peels. She was giving the peels to the Lord Krishna, and with that devotion to him, and Bhagavan was eating the peels of bananas. By that time, Vidura came and said, what nonsense you are doing? What is this nonsense? Then she came to senses. Like that, Bharadwaja was so overwhelmed, says, please repeat to me, what did Brahmaji tell me? He says, Brahmaji exhorted you to complete the Ramayana, and he said, it is very, very important from the standpoint of posterity, and he has also told you not to entertain any misgivings in completion of this text. And afterwards, Bharadwaja, on his own request, Valmiki, can you impart me the teaching as to how Lord Rama became the Jivan Mukta, so that I can also take to those sadhanas and be a Jivan Mukta like who? Lord Rama. In fact, entire Yogavasistha, comprising 32,000 stanzas. 32,000 stanzas is commentary on Jivan Mukti and description of Jivan Mukta. That is why, as a key to Yogavasistha, I had taught Jivan Mukti and also is in the process of teaching for the second time, because it gives a key, as it were, to understand many of the points that come in Yogavasistha, because it's such an enormous text, so you can get carried away by certain points. See, any teaching must be elaborate, at the same time it should be brief, because in brief you get a bird's eye view of entire teaching. Otherwise, one can get carried away by the elaborations in certain places. So that is how it is. Again, so this is the link. Also is evident by the conclusion of this teaching in the last sarga of Nirvana Prakarana Uttarardha, wherein at each link the beneficiary, the student who has received the teaching, expresses one's gratitude to the one who imparts the teaching. So we find that first in this sequence the expression of gratitude we find in the last sarga of this text. King Arishtanemi expresses his gratitude to who? Valmiki, because he got it from Valmiki. And Arishtanemi also that expresses gratitude to Devaduta and Indra, because of whom he could come to Valmiki. Then Devaduta also was benefited by the teaching. He expresses his gratitude to Valmiki himself, because along with Arishtanemi king, he also had learned it. Then Apsara Suruchi expresses her gratitude to who? Devaduta, because from Devaduta she got it. Then the Karunya Brahmana expresses gratitude to father, who is that? Agnivesha. Finally, Sutikshna Brahmana expresses the gratitude to sage Agasti. So like this, it is the link. But the text we get is from who? What was narrated by Devaduta to Suruchi. As I said, there are 32,000 stanzas. Actually, in the text available, I could find the total stanzas as 28,324. It is in 6 kandas, 6 prakaranas. So, just as Purva Ramayana, Ramacharita Katha has got 6 kandas, Yogavasistha, also called as Uttara Ramayana, has also called as the 6 kandas. So traditionally it is said the total stanzas are 32,000. But in the text I could find 28,324. Either some stanza verses are lost, or there may be some reason because of that, but 32 is the figure. Okay. It has got 6 kandas are called as prakaranas. First one is Vairagya Prakarana. Vairagya Prakarana. Second one is Mumukshu Vyavahara Prakarana. Here Vyavahara means sadhanas. Mumukshu Vyavahara Prakarana means the prakarana which describes the sadhanas, the means to be taken to by a mumukshu. Third prakarana is Jagadutpatti Prakarana. Utpatti of Jagat. Fourth prakarana is Sthiti Prakarana. That Sthiti applies to Jagat Sthiti, continuation of the Jagat. Fifth prakarana is Upashama Prakarana. Again Upashama is Jagat Upashama, dissolution of the Jagat. The final sixth one is Nirvana Prakarana. Nirvana is the total absorption in Brahma Swarupa. Nirvana Prakarana. Yogavasistha has got other names like Uttara Ramayana, Vasistha Maharamayana, Mokshopaya Samhita. Mokshopaya Samhita Parsha Ramayanam, Vasishtha Ramayana, Jnana Vasishtham, simply Vasishtham. Also Brihad Yoga Vasishtha, Brihad Yoga Vasishtha. But the name Yogavasistha is in more practice. As I already told you, it is appropriate because Yoga word also means Jiva Brahma Aikya. And in the Nirvana Prakarana Uttarardha, Sarga 13, stanza 3, it is said like this: Samsarottarani yuktihi yoga shabdena katyate. Samsarottarani yuktihi yoga shabdena katyate. That means yukti, the sadhana, the means to cross over samsara, is termed by the word yoga. That is the subject matter of this text. And Vasishtha, as we already seen, something taught by say Vasishtha. So Yoga Vasishtha is the most appropriate name for this text. According to the tradition, sage Valmiki is the author of Yoga Vasishtha, and the time of writing Yoga Vasishtha is obviously the same as that of Ramayana, Purva Ramayana. Almost all the manuscripts and the printed books mention in the beginning and the end as Valmiki as the author. The episode of Brahmaji exhorting Valmiki to complete the Ramayana that he has already begun after the Purva Ramayana was over, that also proves that Valmiki is the author, and when Valmiki is the author, time has to be obviously that of Ramayana. In the Purva Ramayana, means the Ramayana of Ramacharita Katha, we find in the Balakanda 4 to 3, in Ramayana Balakanda 4 to 3, a reference to the subsequent Grantha, which obviously refers to Yoga Vasishtha, is available by these two phrases. He says, because Valmiki was afterwards concerned as to who will narrate, who will sing this to the public. No doubt he has composed, but somebody has to sing, has to narrate. So that was that. Kon vetat prayunjiya kaha nu etat prayunjiya. Probably who will, I wonder, who will sing this to the public at that time. Before that, this, what he refers to this, he refers this, tatha uttaram kritva. Tatha, so also, uttaram kritva means having composed the Uttara Ramayana, because it refers to Ramayana. That gives an indication that Yoga Vasishtha was written by him. Also, he refers to Sabhavishya Sahottaram. Sabhavishya Saha Uttaram. So means along with the Uttara Grantha that I am going to complete in the near future. So I wonder who is going to recite to the public. So therefore, this is one thing. One more reference in the very Yoga Vasishtha of Valmiki as the author can be found in the Nirvana Prakarana Purvardha Sarga 22. There is what is called as Bhushundopakhyana. I hope those who are exposed to Ramcharitmanas is very familiar with this personality, Bhushunda. You know who is Bhushunda? It's a crow. Bhushunda is a kakaha, a crow, but not an ordinary crow. Mind you, he is a Jivan Muktaha, not only Jivan Muktaha, Chiranjeevi. He has survived many kalpas. He survived many kalpas. And once our Vasishtha goes to him. Vasishtha is not an ordinary person. Not only Trikalajnaha, he knows past, future and present. He is Sarvatra Sanchari. Sarvatra Sanchari means not only in this Brahmanda, he has access to any Brahmandas. I hope you know how many Brahmandas are there? We are in one Brahmanda presided by our Brahmaji. Like that, how many Brahmandas are there? When a wave in the ocean comes and lashes on the beach, how many water spray particles splash? Those many Brahmandas are born and get dissolved every moment. That is the magnitude of creation. We consider ourselves very great. So, you may be emperor ka baap, the entire Brahmanda. You see, where is India? Where is the globe? In that, where is India? In that, where is the place you are? And in which corner you are there? Think of it, the magnitude of creation. And this Vasishtha is the one who has the capacity to move anywhere, and he goes to Bhushunda and asks, meaning it's about Adhyatma. Bhushunda knows who this guy is. He says, Bhagavan, you have to ask me all these things. See, I have to learn from you. He says, but I know. It's very interesting. When a great Mahatma like you asks to obey your command is the greatest service one can do, and you want to make me talk so that you want to show to the world that this servant of yours knows all these things, I will certainly obey your command. And whatever he asks, he gives the reply. At one place, because he asked about the Chiranjeevi, what all he has seen, etc., etc. He knows, but still he asks, and he says, at one place, this Bhushunda, who is Trikalajnaha, Chiranjeevi, and Jivan Mukta, he mentions about the author of Yogavasistha. He says, Valmiki Namna Jivena. This Yogavasistha was compiled by who? Composed by who? By an individual by name Valmiki. There is little addition there which is misinterpreted by many. Tena eva annena va kritam. By the same Valmiki or annena, by other. But that by other doesn't mean the author of Yogavasistha is other than Valmiki. By other jiva having the name as Valmiki. Do you know why? He is not talking of one kalpa. He says this Yogavasistha is composed for the 12th time. Means he knows about 12 kalpas. So therefore, because in each kalpa there may be a sage Valmiki, but the jiva may be different. But whatever, we are concerned with which kalpa? We are concerned with our kalpa, and in our kalpa Valmiki is only one, and that Valmiki has composed this. So tell them. So as far as Sampradaya is concerned, there is no problem about the authorship of Yogavasistha. And where is the problem? Problem is among the modern academic scholars about the authorship of Yogavasistha and the date of Yogavasistha. In fact, I need not take this. I did not tell, but I'm deliberately telling you because these ideas are afloat. And when you come across that, oh, it may be because you know who is that? The person is a PhD scholar. He has got a PhD degree. So that is that. And unfortunately, some Vedantis, like a parrot, they just repeat it without giving a thought to it and blindly tell that, so that you should not get carried away by such things. So let us see now. So what they do is, they question the authorship of Valmiki. We'll see what are their arguments and how they are baseless, we'll see. And they try to place the time of writing of Yogavasistha between 5th century to 14th century. Ramayana was in which century? No century. Okay. Treta Yuga. Your century is what now present is your BC and AD and all that. This is in Treta Yuga. But they try to place the timing between 5th century and 14th century. Who are these scholars? The scholars are Dr. Farquhar. Don't bother about it. Dr. Farquhar, an Englishman, the author of Religious Literature of India. Dr. Professor Shiv Prasad Bhattacharya, historian, famous historian. Dr. Dasagupta, also historian. Dr. Bhikanlal Atreya, Dr. Mainkar, Dr. Winterniz, Sri Paugi Shastri. I will give the argument given by them and how they are baseless we'll see afterward. But it is important to bear in mind that most of these PhDs were during British time. All these scholars were during British period, British rule, and university PhD means there is a guide, and the guide is a British guide with Western orientation, with skin deep knowledge of our Indian culture. So that is, in fact, these are very interesting PhDs. I have got one thesis on Vedanta from Leeds University, UK. I went through it. Fellow doesn't know ABCD of Vedanta and poses as if he knows Shankara thoroughly and tries to find fault with others and to give his own theory as such, any what else maybe. See, that shows one thing. The guide, of course, a British UK university, the guide itself is totally ignorant of Vedanta. The panel which conferred upon him the PhD degree is equally ignorant, and the height of it, some of these books are afterwards published by Motilal Banarasidas, because doctorate in what? Vedanta. Doctorate in Vedanta. Anyway, just to give you a sample of what is that, only I am telling you because don't get carried away by this only because they are scholars, etc. Now let us say, So what these people have to say? First thing, see, I have told already that they place the timing between 5th century to 14th century. Some say, that one by one let us say, Yogavasistha time cannot be beyond 14th century. See how they go. Anyway, there is something as far as the thing is there, how they try to error. It cannot be beyond 14th century. To say Yogavasistha was composed after 14th century is wrong. Why? Vidyaranya Muni, who was in the first half of 14th century, refers to Yogavasistha in Panchadashi and Jivan Mukti Viveka. And therefore, it cannot be beyond 14th century. Of course, it is all right, that is fine as such. That we have no nothing there. That it cannot be so. Then, now say, they go on coming back. But stick to 5th century, why that nonsense we will see after. He says, a Kashmir Pandit by name Srimad Abhinanda Gowda has compiled Laghu Yogavasistha, also called Yogavasistha Shasara, in the first half of 9th century. So, to ascribe any day after 9th century is wrong. Yes, agreed. Okay, that is it. Because 9th century, because they could locate the date of Laghu Yogavasistha by Abhinanda Gowda, 9th century. That is fine. Now, there are varieties of people. Say, some say it can't be, it should be before Shankaracharya, who was in the 7th century. Some say it is after 5th century. What all they have to say, we'll see. So some say in the 5th century, there was who is called as Vasubandhu, who spoke of Buddhistic philosophy, and none other than Kalidasa, the great poet Kalidasa, is from 5th century. They try to find out some link to this, and they say that Yogavasistha must be after 5th century, but before Shankaracharya, 7th century.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्य परिपालयन्ताम् सुखिनो भवन्तु काले पश्यतु पर्जन्यः